Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Top Sold. Thank you for joining. Today I got a quick review of the upcoming Air Jordan 4 Thunder. Now, I know we saw a very similar sneaker drop just last year. It was just like this one, except instead of the yellow, it was red, and they were called the Red Thunders. And I'm sure a lot of you guys remember that sneaker from last year. It was a very popular sneaker. Unfortunately, I couldn't get my hands on it, but I'm glad to have these, and I actually prefer these. These are actually the originals. These originally came out like 15 years ago, and I think the last retro was about 10 years ago. Unfortunately, I couldn't get my hands on those either. But let's go ahead and get right into it. We're gonna do some very brief details on this sneaker, and we're gonna get right to the on feet, so don't go anywhere. And if you're enjoying this video so far, like the video. It'll help me reach more people. And if you're not part of the team yet, just hit that red button to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Let's get right to it and talk about this sneaker right here. There's not gonna be much to talk about in regards to this sneaker. It's a very simple sneaker. It doesn't have premium materials. It doesn't have any sort of interesting backstory. It's just a very nice sneaker. And again, one that I think is just a little bit better than those Red Thunders. So I'm very, very happy to have these, but it's also not a very polarizing sneaker. In other words, there's not a lot of people that either really hate it or really love it. I think for the most part, people just either really love this sneaker because of the nostalgia, because they remember it from 10, 15 years ago, or people are just sort of in the middle where they're sort of indifferent as to whether they get them or not. I think a lot of people are gonna go for these. I think this is a sneaker where the craftsmanship is definitely up there. I love the shape of this sneaker. It's not too bulky. Again, Jordan 4s are very bulky, and I think this one's a little bit slimmed down, so I really do enjoy that. But my one main complaint about this sneaker is if we go ahead and look at this toe box, you notice a little discoloration there. It looks a little bit faded, and that's not just on one shoe. On both of these, when you look at the toe box, it's as if, what I can compare it to is when you got black jeans and you've thrown them in the washer a few times and you see that it gets kind of faded. That's what I see here on the toe box, and I see hints of that on the tongue as well. So that's what bugs me the most, because if you're paying $210 for this sneaker, you expect a little bit more quality. Now, I didn't have those I wasn't lucky enough to get those Red Thunders, so I don't know if it was a similar issue with those. Maybe that's how it is with this theme, but I just would prefer a nice flat black all around. Now, it's not like egregious, but I would prefer a little bit better quality there. Now let's go ahead and go to the heel tab of this sneaker, where we see that Jumpman logo in white. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of this sneaker. You would assume that this logo would be yellow, obviously in keeping with the rest of the sneaker, but I think that would have been a little bit too much. It would have been overkill. So when they threw these hints of white on the Jumpman logo in the heel tab and on the tongue, it just looks so clean. But just like I mentioned before, there's not a lot to talk about in terms of the sneaker. Either you like it or you're sort of in the middle. I'm sort of leaning towards that extreme where I really love this sneaker. This brings back a lot of nostalgia and one that I've always wanted to have in my collection. So I'm very happy about that. And hopefully a lot of you guys are in the same boat, but if you're not, trust me that you won't regret adding these to your collection. And again, there's not much else to talk about. These are true to size, and if you have any other questions, just drop in the comments and I'll get to you as soon as I can. But let's go ahead and wrap it up, go to the on feet. Hope you enjoy it. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.